the nominating committee. Susan has served as chair of the nominating committee, and the members are Janet Watkins of Detroit, Mickey Adele of Plymouth Canton, Sharon Bell Bradich, Plymouth Canton, Mary Mostagee, Ann Arbor, and the alternates were Kathleen Bennett of Escanaba area and Cindy Bender of Escanaba area. Susan, please present the slate.
I'm shuffling these papers and I'm trying to find my page here, which was previously. I'm trying to find my page, which was previously marked with a paper clip, and it got lost in the shuffle. So let me just find the page, please. It was supposed to be all organized, which it was.
17.
Thank you. Had to go back to the index to remember it. The AAUW bylaws dictate that the program vice president, the secretary, and the AAUW funds director shall be elected in the even-numbered years. The following nominees are qualified to hold office and are presented to the membership. Duly accredited delegates shall vote on the slate and any nominations from the floor, provided written consent of the qualified nominee has been secured. At the time of the election at the annual meeting on April 30th, 2016, a majority of the votes cast in a meeting in which a quorum of at least 25% of those eligible to vote is present shall be necessary for election. Elected officers take office July 1, following their election for a 2-year term. Candidate biographies will be available on the website, and they're also presented here in the program. I present for Program Vice President, Janet Watkins of the Detroit branch. If you'd stand, please. Thank you. And Janet I'll present all of the three, and then I'll read their biographies. Membership Vice President, Deb Kennedy of the Wyandotte Downriver branch. Please stand.
I'm not up for re-election.
Oh. No, she isn't. Is that?
You skipped your
I skipped myself, yes. I skipped in the book. AAUW Funds Director, excuse me, Sharon Dunn, Cass City Thumb Area Branch. You can see it takes a village, can't you? Secretary Janice Van Gass of the Iron Mountain Kingsford Branch. Thank you. I will now just read the biographies of each of these candidates. Yes, and please feel free to sit down while I read these. Janet Watkins is currently the co-president of the American Association of University Women Detroit branch, as well as program vice president and technology and website director for AAUW of Michigan. A member of AAUW since 2001 and a member of the state board of AAUW of Michigan since 2005. She served as state president from 2012 to 2014 and vice president of membership from 2005 to 2007. She was the first African American woman to be elected state president of AAUW of Michigan. In these roles, she works to empower women and girls through advocacy and education. Janet is a recipient of Wayne County National Organization of Women 2013 Harriet Tubman Award. She received the Elizabeth M. White Award for volunteer service at Wayne State University's WDET DRIS program for the blind and print impaired. A published author, she has written opinion pieces on social justice issues that impact the lives of women and girls and the community. In addition to her positions with the AAUW Detroit branch and AAUW Michigan, she has served on the board of the National Council of Women and Girls and the National Council on Men and Boys, the Michigan Human Trafficking Task Force, and is a member of the Michigan Equal Pay Coalition. A founding member of Stop the Drilling in Southfield, she works with neighborhood and community activists who oppose oil and gas drilling in the residential communities. Janet holds a Bachelor of Science degree in business management. She worked at General Motors for more than 34 years in a number of capacities, from managing people and processes to training and development. Janet retired from GM in 2005, and her contact information is listed here in the book. Now we will go on to Sharon Dunn, our AAUW Funds Director from the Cass City Thumb Area Branch. Sharon has been an advocate for equality and education for women and girls throughout her life and has instilled this in her two daughters. Heather is a science teacher in the Utica School District, and Amber has started her own marketing event coordination business, as well as being a consultant for Osborne Books. You can find her in the back hall. Sharon had earned both her bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Missouri at Columbia. After she and her husband moved to Michigan, she worked for a short time for a nonprofit rehabilitation agency and then went to work for the Michigan Department of Community Health at the Caro Center, holding positions of staff psychologist, program director and manager of the psychology department, retiring in 2008 after 32 years of service. Since her retirement, in addition to her work with AAUW, both on the local and the state level, Sharon has enjoyed traveling with her husband and spending time with her family, including 3 grandchildren. Sharon initially joined AAUW in 1976, but because of career and family responsibilities, took a break for a few years, rejoining in 2007. She has been an active member and is currently serving as president of the Cass City Thumb Area Branch, and also served in this capacity in 1981 to 1983 and 1984 from 1985. She has served as the membership vice president, started and co-chaired the annual Christmas wreath fundraiser, served on the planning committee for the branch 50th anniversary celebration in 2014, and is on the annual Flamingo Fling fundraiser planning committee. She has also assisted in other AAUW projects, including the annual Halloween Carnival, the Reading is Fundamental project, and the butter braid sales. She attended the Equal Pay Day rallies in Lansing the last 2 years and has encouraged other members of the branch to attend. Sharon has been the funds director for AAUW Michigan for the last 2 years. She has appreciated the opportunity to serve in this capacity and the experience and personal growth it has provided. She worked with a committee of other state board members to identify areas needing additional funding in AAUW in Michigan, and is in the process of completing work on implementing this. She looks forward to continuing in her role as funds director, working with other members of the AAUW board and branch fund directors. And to Secretary Janice Van Gass of the Iron Mountain Kingsford branch. Janice Van Gass is in her second 2-year term as president of the Iron Mountain Kingsford branch. She has also served as membership vice president and has been on the nominations committee, the resolutions committee, and the membership committee of AAUW in Michigan. She was also very involved in the planning committee of the 2015 AAUW of Michigan State Convention held in the Upper Peninsula. She has a passion for promoting education for girls in her area and is actively involved in her community. Jan is passionate about AAUW's mission. After graduating from the University of Michigan, Jan became a Spanish teacher at the Clinton Community Schools in Lower Michigan. She also received her master's degree from Eastern Michigan University. Jan went on to become a school counselor in Clinton and then worked at the Lenawee Intermediate School District as a facilitator for school improvement, curriculum, instruction, and assessment. Moving to Norway in the Upper Peninsula in 2000, Jan served as the Director of Instruction for Briding Township Schools. After 38 years, she retired from K-12 education in 2010. Jan is currently teaching Spanish at Bay Community College for fun. In this role, she is on the Diversity Committee, which promotes Women's History Month. Jan has been secretary of many groups over the years, most recently as secretary of Matinee Musicale, a local group whose mission is to raise the standard of music throughout the community and to spread good music wherever possible. Jan loves to play the piano and accompanies many groups in the Iron Mountain, Kingsford area, as well as playing at her church. In addition, she has served as the president of the Michigan School Counselors Association and as chair of Michigan Special Education Advisory Committee. One thing that everyone would say about Jan is that she is extremely organized and follows through with tasks which are crucial requirements for a secretary. And as a side note, it was a true pleasure working with her on the convention last year in Escanaba. She only had to miss one planning meeting and she drove 1 hour each way to get there. Jan is married and has 2 adult children who reside in Norway, Michigan and Green Bay, Wisconsin. She has loved her involvement with AAUW of Michigan and is getting to know people. She looks forward to bringing her skills and work ethic to AAUW of Michigan's leadership group.
Okay, you've heard the report of the nominating committee. Are there nominations from the floor for the office of Program Vice President? Are there nominations from the floor for the office of AAUW Funds Director? Are there nominations from the floor for the office of Secretary? There being no further nominations, I declare the nominations closed. All those in favor of electing Janet Watkins as Program Vice President, Sharon Dunn as AAUW Funds Director, and Jan Van Gass as AAUW Michigan Secretary, please raise your blue voting card. Lower your cards. Those opposed, please raise your voting card. Thank you. I declare the election of Janet Watkins, Sharon Dunn, and Jan Van Gass. The reports of the directors begin on page 43 of the convention program book. Directors are invited to speak if there are updates to their report. Are there any updates to the directors' reports? Hearing none, we'll go on to the reports by coalition representatives. The reports of the coalition representatives who attend these meetings are found on pages 61 to 64 of the convention book. The coalition reports are for Michigan for Public Education. Our representative is Sharon Bell-Bradich. The Council About Parochia, the representative is Mickey Edel. The Pay Equity Network, the representative is Polly Howe. And Michigan ERA America, the representative is Laura Callow. There are no additions to those reports. Is there any other unfinished business? Is there any new business? This is the time when you might, if you so choose, bring resolutions from the floor. A resolution from the floor requires a 2/3 vote to be heard. Here I see nobody running to raise their hand or stand up and tell me they want to bring forward a resolution. We will assume there are none. So I get to scroll way through my script here. Oh, and it's time for the president's message. So we came up with a really great theme for this convention, Members in Action, and I have to thank Penny for coming up with that theme. Members in Action embodies so many different things that we see every day. In AAUW, one of the things when we focus on mission, we sometimes forget about fellowship, and I think the fellowship that is provided by AAUW is something that is extremely important, and it's part of our history. And I say this repeatedly because I think it's very important that we don't forget our history. It's very important that we don't forget that in 1881, if you were an educated woman, you were a pariah in society. The housewives or the upper middle class wives didn't want to have anything to do with you because what were you doing getting educated? The professional community was barred to you, even if you had a professional education, because women didn't belong there. So they had no place to come together and feel respected and validated. And that's one of the major things that AAUW provided in the early years. Validation to women who had the strength of conviction to go out and seek education and to try to break into a world that was barred to them. So I think it's very important that we remember that history and that we continue to provide that fellowship in the very many different ways that we do it. The Young Women's Task Forces are providing it for young women who don't see their peers when they walk into a room full of women my age and older. The branches that are still, that may be struggling with leadership issues because so many of their members are getting older and are feeling that they can no longer put in that, take those leadership roles, but they are still providing that fellowship to those women even when they can't take on leadership roles, and that's very important. And I get that when I come to AAUW. I get that fellowship that I need. And I received that fellowship when I moved to Northern Ontario with 2 little kids and was at home. And as an outsider, was a pariah in society. The PTA moms were suspect of me because I'd been in greater Los Angeles. The locals just were not people who embraced new people. And so an exercise teacher saw that I was in need of fellowship and validation. And she introduced me to a woman who could have been my grandmother. And she said, "Margaret, you need to take Beth to your CFUW meeting, Canadian Federation of University Women, because she needs that." And after being sidelined with the PTA moms, I attended a CFUW meeting and I was embraced. Women who could have been my mother or my grandmother treated me with respect. They listened to me. They shared their opinions with me and let me share mine, and even when we disagreed, they treated me in a collegial manner. And I received that at CFUW. I was brought into the executive in much the way that Amy was, much too soon as a new member, but I joined the executive of the local club, and then I joined the executive of the provincial level, and eventually even went on and held a national board position. And a few years ago, AAUW Wyandotte Downriver was hosting a state convention, and they contacted me as CFUW Windsor president and said, "Would you like to come across the border and talk to us?" And that's how I got involved in AAUW. I had known about it as a young, educated woman, but I thought it was for my mother, not for me. So when I learned through CFUW and then the way I was embraced also at AAUW Wyandotte Downriver, what a powerful organization university women's organizations can be, I drank the Kool-Aid. And I joined the board, I joined the state board as a parliamentarian, actually, because I love bylaws. And so this is my point about the fellowship that we all need and the validation that we all need and how important it is to keep that going. That does not negate mission, because mission is what we're all here about. Mission is the glue that holds us together. We could be members of any bridge group and get that fellowship, probably. But without the mission, those bridge groups fall apart. You know, they might be a group that meets for a year or two, or the book groups that meet for a year or two. But with AAUW's mission, people come together as a group and they stay. And so we have book groups that have been around as long as branches have been around. And so that's very important in keeping us together. But it's also very important because of all the achievements that we've had through AAUW, through the early years with research that proved that women didn't go insane because they got educated or become infertile. And through research that showed in 1908 that women who were working in the civil service made 78 cents on the dollar of what men made. And through research on breaking down barriers, and through our efforts for pay equity today, our education programs, STEM research, STEM activities in local branches, and lifelong learning through our interesting programs, the philanthropy and the local scholarships, as well as the national funds, they are all so important. And then, of course, I've had an awesome board who've done all the work. They make me look great, but the truth of the matter is that the president is the easy job, and the people who are on the board do all the work. They've become true friends, and they've worked effectively together, and so I would really like to give my board of directors a big hand. So that was a really rambling president's message to say thank you to you all, and I look forward to many years of AAUW mission in the coming years. I will now invite Membership VP Deb Kennedy to come up to present membership awards.
Do you want Sharon next?
No, I want Deb next.
Okay, sorry. I was following the agenda.
Well, obviously my script didn't.
No problem.
Just give me a minute. Fill in the time.
We should have Myra speak.
So my husband's favorite joke is a baby seal walked into a club. Boom, boom.
Oh, I forgot my notes. You got somebody's about to.
Oh, well, apparently I have to change the order of my script because Deb's still got more stuff she has to bring up here. Sharon Dunn, would you come down and present the Funds Awards?
As my niece would say, presents.
I guess Susan Hampton can help me pass these out because it's hard for me to talk and pass at the same time, so. In 2015, AAUW members and branches in Michigan contributed $88,635.03 to the various AAUW funds. I would like to thank everyone for their donations, and we should be very proud of this accomplishment. Let's give ourselves a hand. I will now be presenting the awards for the top 10 branches in total contributions and the top 10 branches in per capita contributions. The awards will be given out in order from the first branch to the 10th branch and then the per capita. If the funds director is here, I would like for her to come forward to receive the award. If not, the branch president, and if that's not, some other officer or a member. So, the top 10 branches in total contributions in order from the first presented being the highest for total contributions is Ann Arbor, number 1. Please come forward and stay here.
Oh, very well.
Birmingham, number 2. 3, Midland. 4, Wyandotte Downriver. 5, Holland. 6, Port Huron. 7, Dearborn. 8, Livonia. 9, Battle Creek. And 10, Traverse City. Let's give them all a hand. Okay, now for the top 10 branches in contributions per capita.
Can we pause just a minute so we can get this whole group up and a picture of them?
They were
Yeah.
I'll slow down on the next one so we can make sure that they get out of order.
Just stay here for a minute because we have people taking pictures.
Now, some of you may be coming up again, but I'll try to slow down so we don't get out of order with the certificates. The top 10 branches in contributions per capita are given in order. Number 1, Grand Rapids. Is there anyone here from Grand Rapids? Penny, that's right. Penny. Detroit. Surprise, Janet? Holland, number 3. Number 4, Midland. Number 5, Ann Arbor. Number 6, Port Huron. Number 7, Wyandotte Downriver. Number 8, Birmingham. Number 9, Battle Creek. And number 10, Romeo. Let's Let's give them a big hand.